Hello, everyone, and welcome to Empire of the Full Moon, the show where I, your host Mike Cadaver, talk about the work of Charles Band spanning from before Empire Pictures until now. Until now. Anyway, you get what I'm saying, okay? This happens to be episode 19, and in this episode, I'll be talking about Troll from 1986. But before I get into that real quick, do me a favor. I want you to be happy. And I know you want me to be happy because we're good people. Why don't you do me a favor? Just like and subscribe, will you? Come on. Let's just do that. Get it out of the way. I have to say that kind of stuff. That's kind of in the contract, okay? But now that we're done with that, let's move on. My wife asked me, so what are you doing for your, she calls them my little videos. I'm like, well, first of all, thanks, honey, for calling my little videos. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be doing Troll. And she's just like, I'm like, babe, no, it's not that. And then, of course, she thought, and I'm like, it's not that either. However, it's better than both of those two. And you may ask, how could it possibly be better than those two movies? I will say right now that the 1986 Empire Pictures masterpiece Troll is better than both of those movies. And if you've seen it before, or maybe you haven't seen it before, but if you're not convinced yet that it's a masterpiece, I get it. But that should change by the end of this episode. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. I'm not going to waste too much time. They got a lot to talk about, so here you go. Trailer.
Once upon a time when the world was filled with wonder, little creatures shared the earth with humans, and magic was a way of life. Once upon a time is now. Empire Pictures presents Troll, the weirdest, the rowdiest, the most mischievous, and the scariest little creature of them all.
I think that what he's doing is going from apartment to apartment and transforming sections of this building into different fairy worlds.
The hell are you?
The transformation is going to begin on the Witch's Sabbath, the very same day that the Potters move into their new apartment.
I've never seen so many guys take so long to move so little furniture.
It's all your records, honey. You gotta get rid of some of these records.
Sometimes I wonder what I'm gonna do. Lord, there ain't no cure for the summertime blues.
What the Potters don't know is that they've just moved into the building that is the enchanted gateway to the ancient world of Troll.
Shut that damn door.
Wendy! Didn't you hear Mommy calling you, honey? No, Mommy.
It's Daddy. It's Daddy.
Harry Jr. is about to be drawn into a world beyond his wildest fantasy, and he'll need a little magic of his own to get out of it alive. Harry Potter Jr. expected to have a little trouble getting adjusted in his new neighborhood. But he never expected anything like this. Troll, where myths and legends come to life.
All right, everybody, you just heard the trailer for Troll. The year is 1986, and the rating, this might be the only PG-13 movie that we do on this show, unless we start to get into some of the Moonbeam and some of the the more youth-oriented movies that Charles Band did. But yeah, and this is a strange one a little bit because is it pointed towards kids? Is that who it's going for? Yes, but also no. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's go on. 4.6 on the IMDb with about 12,000 ratings. Written and directed by John Carl Buechler. Now, regardless of whether you know who this is, I promise you, you've seen his work. In fact, he's been involved in a lot of the movies that we've already done on this show. We've done Crawl Space, Dungeon Master, Ghoulies 2, just to name a few. Typically, he's known for his special effects and his makeup department work. He has 68 and 41 credits respectively in those, but he's also directed 15 movies, written 8, and acted in another 15. The last film he has a credit for on IMDb is called Wizard Dream from 2021. Sucks for us that he passed away in 2019. He was only 66 years old. Leaving it, left a huge hole in our hearts as well as the industry. But I would totally urge you to go check out his IMDb to see how much he's actually affected your life, because I guarantee, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth later too. It was also written by a guy named Ed Naha, who helped write it. Mr. Naha has 20 writing credits, such bangers as Dolls, Spellcaster, Chud 2, Bud the Chud, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and it seemed like he worked on a few of those with Stuart Gordon. Anyway, so this movie stars Noah Hathaway as Harry Potter Jr. That's right, folks. You guessed it. 10 years before the books were written, I think it's either the books were written or the movies came out, there was a Harry Potter in a magical movie, because this, make no doubt, this is all about witchery and wizardry and all this fun stuff too. But this was long before that. And this movie's kind of interesting, especially for Noah Hathaway, right? I mean, I love this movie so very much, but it came 2 years after The Neverending Story, and I assume that was a huge hit. I mean, I was like 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old at that time, and I think everybody on the planet has seen Neverending Story. Say my name, Bastia, kind of crap. But I assume it was big. I guess, I don't know for sure, but I would have assumed that he'd be in huge, big budget movies at this point in his career. I mean, the whole R-Tax thing ruined all of our childhoods. But he, so it's kind of crazy. Good for, I'm glad to see him in this. He did a great job in it. But Michael Moriarty played his dad, Harry Potter Sr. That same Michael Moriarty that never saw a Larry Cohen movie he didn't like. Shelley Hack is Ann Potter. Jenny Beck as Wendy Ann Potter. She was the young girl in this, very Carol Ann-ish. Sonny Bono is Peter Dickinson in this is swinging bachelor single, and I loved his role. He wasn't in a ton, but it was great. We have Phil Fondacaro as Malcolm Mallory, and he also played the troll. We all love him. Our favorite Empire/Full Moon alum. We had Brad Hall as William Daniels. June Lockhart as Eunice St. Clair. And that's a name that we should all know, especially for the older films. Anne Lockhart, her daughter, played young Eunice St. Clair. And they played as a team on this one. Both of them had very distinguished careers. This was the first time Julia Louis-Dreyfus was in a movie. She played Jeanette Cooper. Obviously, she played Elaine Bennis on Seinfeld. And it's funny because many years before Seinfeld, she pulled a putty in this episode.
You're a face painter.
Yeah, that's right.
By making time with some floozy across the aisle.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not taking me back.
That's right.
My name is Wendy Ann. I live downstairs.
Oh, I'm Jeanette.
That's right.
All right, this also starred Gary Sandy as Barry Tabor, Frank Welker, the voice of Turok the Troll, and a bunch of other troll voices. He also did Fred Jones, Scooby-Doo, and everyone knows who he is too. So there was a lot of big, a lot of starting star power, but maybe some people a little bit past their prime. But Michael Moriarty was perfect in Atreyu. Man, it's crazy. So anyways, let's just go for the plot real quick. The film opens with the Potter family, Harry Sr. and the teenage son, Harry Potter Jr., and young daughter, Wendy. They're moving into a San Francisco apartment complex. It's an interesting building with lots to explore, so that's what the kids do. In the second scariest ball rolling down a staircase scene, Wendy heads down into the basement and is attacked by a small troll named Turok. Wasn't very violent, he just kind of takes her and basically uses a magical ring to possess her, trapping the real Wendy in a kind of suspended state while he masquerades in her body. As Turok, in Wendy's form, begins interacting with the tenants, strange things start to happen. One by one, the residents are enchanted and transformed into bizarre fantasy creatures like goblins, trolls, plant-like beings. some of these are wild. Turok's goal is to recreate his lost magical world, converting the mundane apartment building into a fairy forest land filled with wild plants and trolls, ghoulies, and all sorts of other weird stuff. I mentioned a little bit before some of the other people who played in this, but they all kind of played residents of this building. Barry Tabor is a swinging bachelor. Like I said, Sonny. Malcolm Mallory, he was, that's Phil Fondacaro, a wise dwarf. And when I say dwarf, I don't mean like, since this is a fantasy movie, I mean like a little person and not like an actual like dwarf, like in Lord of the Rings. It's confusing, guys. I get it. But yeah, Phil Fondacaro. He also plays Turok. He doesn't do the voice though. Like I said, like Fred Welker does that. Not Fred Welker. Frank Welker, because Fred is, never mind. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I guess in order for him to be in this, he kind of made a deal that he wanted to play a straight up character as well. Because basically Phil plays lots and lots of little creatures like troll, just like this one in a lot of the full moon features. Jeanette and William, a fun couple in their late 20s, which was Julie Louis-Dreyfus. Peter Dickinson is a Marine and an all-around swell guy. Well, Harry Jr. soon starts to suspect that something is wrong with Wendy. She is acting wild, eating like an animal. And by the way, the burger that they got her, you know how you move into a place, your parents get you like fast food because they don't want to work or on dinner because they still have to unpack everything. They get probably the grossest looking burger that I have ever seen, even in a movie. It had the works on it, and I'm not sure what that means from this specific burger establishment because it's gross. She's being wild and she's running around yelling at people. No one believes him though, until he meets Eunice St. Clair, an eccentric older woman who lives in the building and knows her stuff when it comes to the supernatural. She reveals that Turok was once a human wizard who looks an awful lot like John Carl Beekler, who tried to lead a rebellion in the magical world but was transformed into a troll as punishment. She herself is a witch who was once a princess in the world that Turok came from. She tells Harry about the ancient conflict in Turok's plan to resurrect his realm by using Wendy's body as a gateway. As the building begins to transform, each room becomes a part of an enchanted world, but it's up to Harry and Eunice to stop Turok. Can Harry and Eunice defeat Turok and bring back normalcy to the apartment building? How beautiful would it be if we saw Michael Moriarty doing a solo dance in the living room? Does Super Swingin' Sonny ever bag any babes? Find out by watching Troll from 1986. So this had a lot of people in it that we knew from the Empire Pictures days, and we know from even more full moon features that ended up moving along later on. Phil Fondacaro, I already mentioned him, but we have John Carl Beekler. He did work on Reanimator, From Beyond, Ginger Dead Man, Dr. Moreau's House of Pain, Seed People, Demonic Toys, Ghoulies, Cellar Dweller, Crawl Space, Trancers, The Dungeon Master, Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity, Dolls, and I could go on and on and on, but I will not, except to say that not only did he do stuff for Empire and Full Moon, but he did a ton of stuff for like other movies, like the Hatchet movies, Friday the 13th, The New Blood, so on and so on. Obviously, Richard Band, well, not obviously, but Richard Band did the soundtrack, and we know him from his very many films, soundtracks, scores, things like that. And this is a little bit different than some of his. It's very whimsical and light. It fits perfectly with this movie because basically the movie, that's the mood. It's fun, it's light, it's great. Deborah Dion produced it. She was formerly married to Charles Band. Huge influence on so many of these movies, especially a lot early on. Zone Troopers, Arena, The Primevals, Dark Angel, Dragon World, Shrunken Heads. Like I said, go on and on and on. But finally, Albert Band, the patriarch of the Band family and an all-around amazing filmmaker. So now that we've gone through the plot and we've talked a little bit about the movie and who did it and what's going on in it, you'll remember that I talked a little bit about Troll 2 in the beginning. And we all know Troll 2, it gained so much cult notoriety. It has its own documentary about how very cult it's become called Best Worst Movie from 2009. And I think the hype hit an all-time point in around 2009 when that came out. It was created by the main character of Troll 2, the kid that he was now, I think he was in his 30s or something like that, maybe almost 40. He documents all the hype and all the little movie like the theaters, the art theater stuff like that, or the get-togethers that they would show Troll 2 and all the little things they did as they watched them. I mean, I like that movie. I mean, do I love the movie? It's fine, but I mean, I like it for the same reason that everybody else likes it, the cult type of thing. Claudio Fragasso doesn't seem to be in on the joke that he just thinks it's a good, fun movie, at least according to the documentary that I mentioned. But that movie, and obviously the documentary, was filmed here in Salt Lake. So I've met a lot of the people who played parts in that movie, and just at little film events here in Salt Lake City, and that was really fun. However, I'm here to tell you that I'm sure you love Troll 2, but Troll from 1986 is wilder and more ripe for a revival than Troll 2 ever was. And here's why. I'm going to give you a list of 6 things that are part of this movie and show you a little bit about it. And you will agree with me or you are crazy. Number 1, Michael Moriarty's Alone Living Room Dance. I mentioned that before, and it is crazy. He sits there and for some reason they just take like 3 minutes to have him dancing around in the living room, lip syncing to, I can't remember, it's like I don't know, some song that we've all heard 100 times and whatever. But that's number 1. Number 2, Eunice's penis-shaped plant lamp, that all it does is just kind of, and it's just like, you're looking at Eunice, watching the movie and going, I should be laughing at this because that is one of the craziest things. And I know it's supposed to be a mushroom because it's a magical plant and all that stuff, but no, it is a penis-shaped plant / lamp. And it's a lamp only because that's how she hides it. Number 3, the troll's irritated looks. Okay. And I'll have an example. I'll show you right now of one of them.
Myself. Don't be silly. Wendy! Honey!
Number 4. And this is one of the big ones too. The Phil Fondacaro troll baby. Okay, that's one of the things that they create and is part of the new magical troll baby land that Turok is putting together in the apartment complex. There's 2 things, and these 2 are the biggest things. So there is a painting, okay, of John Carl Buechler in that, because when Eunice is talking about the story about Turok and how in the old days and before he was turned into a troll for punishment for trying to take over the place back then, they were in love and they were happy till things went bad. So in real life, Buechler literally had a painting made. I don't know if he made it himself, but there is one of the greatest paintings with him, a princess, and the toilet ghoulie. So it's beautiful. You're watching that and you're looking up and you're saying, there is no way that John Buechler made a painting of himself with the toilet ghoulie to put in one of his movies. But you'd be wrong because he did that. Finally, number 6. I have to play a little bit of this for you. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but there is, I don't want to ruin it all for you, but it is wild and it's hilarious. But there's one part where Malcolm Mallory, the Fondacaro, not in troll makeup, he starts telling the story about the wizard, the princesses and the trolls at the dinner table at the Potter residence. And we are presented with one of the absolute greatest musical numbers in any movie ever made. No words can describe how amazing this is. And you'll be shocked. You'll laugh. It will change your life for the better. And it's great. But as for this movie as a whole, it has a lot of heart and it's just fun to watch. And it's kind of like, it's not scary like a horror movie like that. It's more fantastical. It tugs on the heartstrings even a little. In fact, I think a lot of people, and I'm not sure, but I think that sometimes people get the feeling that they're not sure who this is made for. Is it a horror movie? Is it a kid-friendly fantasy film? Yes, it's both. but I would say it is not scary. It is wild. The sense of humor in it is so great. It doesn't matter that it's kind of like has a kind of teetering over that edge of fantasy, kid fantasy a little bit, and horror, but it was hilarious and charming. And I really think you ought to watch this. Michael Moriarty is always great. He doesn't have a huge part in this, but if you know who he is and you like his work, obviously he's just playing himself again in this, and it's great. Like I said, go check it out. You can check it out on Pluto, on Amazon. You can rent or buy it, or you can watch it on Prime Video, Fandango at home. You can rent and buy it there, Apple TV. I actually watched this. I have an old school DVD that I've probably had for 20 years. It was just a bare bones one. I mean, it just had the movie, and I think it had a trailer on it or something like that. But anyway, I think that's all I got. I think this is a one that you have to go back and check out if you're a fan of Charles Band and Full Moon features, or in Empire, because I mean, this is an Empire feature. The bottom line is, it's fun. It's weird, like I said, it's a little bit weird with just the vibe you get, but it's really fun, even for adults. And you can't go into it like with a lot of Full Moon features and Empire features. You can't go into it with a lot of like expectation that it's going to be serious, and I think you'll really like it. Anyways, that's really all I got. Check it out. I like I said, you now like this more than you like Troll 2, but you might as well go watch it again to just double check. Okay, so don't forget, check out the Corpse Cast podcast. If you go to corpsecollective.com, everything's there, and you can find everything. But anyways, that's all I got. Again, have a good day, subscribe, and we'll both be happy, and I'll catch you guys later.